Today we'll be learning how to find the area of a triangle. First, let's write down what the formula for finding the area of a triangle is. So the formula is A equals 1/2 times the base times the height. Before we move on to any practice problems, let's first talk about where this actually comes from. So I'm going to draw out a rectangle for you guys. And we know that the area of a rectangle is base times height. So area of a rectangle is base times height. If I cut this in half, it actually forms two triangles. If I take half of this away, I'm left with just one triangle, giving me half of the original shape. Again, giving me my formula 1/2 times the base times the height. And I'll further solidify this idea in a little bit when I move on to an example problem. So, with that said, let's move on to an example problem. And let's first start off with a triangle shape that we often see, and that is a right triangle. So a right triangle is formed when the two sides meet up to make a right angle here. And then we're just going to go on with our problem. So we have a problem of 41 inches here and 40 inches down here. So first what we're going to do is we're going to identify our base and our height. So in this particular problem, we have our base as 40 inches. And then we have our height as 41 inches. And then we're just going to plug it into the formula. So A equals 1/2 times the base 40, and then 41 is the height. And then if you multiply out 40 times 41, we're going to get a product of 1,640. And then we're going to multiply that by 1/2, and then we're going to get a grand total of 820, and then we're in inches squared. So this is the total, and this is the area of this particular triangle here. So to talk about what I was saying earlier with the rectangle, I'm actually going to erase this here. I'm going to leave this up here, but I'm going to redraw this down here just so that you guys can use it as a reference here. So we had a 41 and we had a 40 here. And then I'm going to draw the rectangle. Here's our rectangle, and then I'm going to use these measurements here. So we had 40 and 41 there, and then 40 here. And then we're going to find the area of this. And we know that the area of this is base times height. So I'm going to actually fill this out accordingly here too. So we know this is base times height. So from our previous problem here, we know that 40 times 41 is 1,640, which is the area of this rectangle. And then if I cut this in half, I get two triangles here. So if I take away this part here, the part that is shaded, I'm only left with half of what I previously had. And again, this is just to further solidify what I had mentioned earlier. So if I take half of this, which then becomes 820, it further solidifies my formula of 1/2 times base times height to find the area of a triangle. So we're going to move on to some more example problems here, and we're also going to use shapes that we often see, and the next one is this one here. And then I'm just going to fill out the problem for all of us to see and all of us to do. So 28 centimeters, and then 35 centimeters here. And then once again, we're just going to find our base and our height to solve our problem. So our base in this sense is 35, and our height is 28. And then we're going to plug and chug again. So A equals 1/2 times our base, which is 35, times our height, which is 28. And then 35 times 28 using a calculator or doing it by hand will give you a product of 980. And then we're going to multiply that by 1/2. and then that's going to give us a total of 490 centimeters squares. And then that's going to be our total for the area of this particular triangle. So we're going to do one last problem here, and I'm going to draw out this shape for you guys. So we have Alright, there we go. So we're going to have 27 centimeters here. And then we're going to have 34 centimeters over here. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to identify our base and our height. So looking at this problem, you can tell that the highest point of this triangle here is here, which is already indicated as 27 centimeters. So our height in this case is 27. And then our base, we don't take account of this dotted line here that is following this. We're only going to take account of the solid line, which is our base, would be 34. So there's that. And then once again, we're just going to use it to plug into our formula, and then we'll find the area of this triangle. So we have area equals 1/2 times the base times the height, which I already have, but we're going to do 1/2, and then our base is 34, and 27 is our height. And then 24 times 27 is 918 here. And then we're going to multiply that by our 1/2. And then this is going to give us a grand total of 459. And then we're in centimeters squared here. So this is the total area for this particular triangle. So I hope you guys learned how to find the area of a triangle.